Pope Francis presented himself as a humble servant of God, but the truth is far darker. His pectoral cross, worn since his days as a cardinal in Argentina, is no innocent symbol. It's not the Jesus of the Bible. Look closely. It's a distorted figure, a satanic emblem masquerading as Christian. Some call it a nod to the synagogue of Satan, a coded tribute to occult forces. The Vatican insists it depicts the Good Shepherd from the Gospel of Luke, carrying a lost sheep. But why choose such an ambiguous, unsettling design? Traditional crosses boldly proclaim Christ's sacrifice. This one hides its meaning, a deliberate signal to those initiated in the shadows. A true pope would wear a cross that leaves no doubt. Francis chose otherwise, marking his allegiance to a darker master. In 2018, Francis exposed his true colors. During a homily, he declared that exposing pedophile priests was Satan's work, casting whistleblowers as agents of the Great Accuser. The Vatican claimed he meant spiritual division, not literal cover-ups, but the words speak for themselves. This was no misstep. It was a calculated decree to protect the Church's darkest secrets. The Catholic Church has been plagued by abuse scandals for decades, with countless victims silenced. Francis, positioned to root out this evil, instead shielded the guilty. He disciplined some abusers, yes, but only under pressure, dragging his feet while victims suffered. Satan thrives in corruption, weaving webs of deceit to protect his own. Francis played the gatekeeper, ensuring the unholy remained cloaked. His words weren't just a defense. They were a vow of loyalty to the Prince of Darkness, a pledge to keep the Church's underbelly hidden. Archbishop Carlo Maria Vigano, a former Vatican ambassador, saw through the facade. He called Francis a servant of Satan, risking everything to warn the world. Excommunicated in 2024 for his defiance, Vigano accused Francis of protecting predators like Cardinal Theodore McCarrick, a known abuser left untouched for years. But Vigano's revelations went deeper. He tied Francis to the Great Reset, a shadowy globalist scheme to usher in a one-world order under satanic control. Francis's reforms, softening stances on divorce, remarriage, and even interfaith dialogue, weren't about modernizing the Church. They were about dismantling it, brick by brick, to pave the way for a godless future. His push for synodality, giving laity more voice, diluted sacred tradition, aligning with secular elites who scorn the divine. Vigano's voice was crushed, his warnings buried by Vatican spin. But his words echo, a clarion call to those who see the truth. Francis served a master far from heaven. Look at Francis's vestments, his cane, his every move. They're laced with subtle satanic symbols, pentagrams and occult shapes woven into the fabric, invisible to the untrained eye. The Vatican Bank, under his watch, became a laundering hub for elite cabals, funneling billions to fund their dark rituals and global schemes. These aren't wild guesses. They're the threads of a tapestry too sinister to ignore. Francis, as the 112th Pope, fits the prophecy of the popes, a medieval text predicting the final pontiff before the world's end. His election in 2013, orchestrated by the St. Gallen Mafia, a secretive group of progressive cardinals, was no accident. It was a coup, a demonic chess move to place Satan's chosen at the helm. From his first day to his death in 2025, every step was scripted, every reform a blow to the Church's foundation. Francis preached humility, but it was a mask. His calls for peace and unity cloaked a deeper agenda, to erode the Church as moral core and align it with a satanic vision. He welcomed pagan rituals, like the Pachamama ceremony in 2019, where Amazonian idols were venerated in St. Peter's shadow. He downplayed the devil's reality, yet his actions mirrored the adversary's playbook, sowing confusion, division, and despair. The faithful were lulled, the skeptical dismissed, while the Vatican became a stage for his masquerade. His death only closed one chapter. the damage he inflicted lingers, a wound on the Church's soul. The evidence is undeniable, the signs unmistakable. Pope Francis was no vicar of Christ. He was Satan's emissary, tasked with hollowing out the Church for a demonic reign. The truth is a bitter pill, but ignorance is deadlier. Dig into the symbols, the scandals, the prophecies. Share this truth, wake the slumbering, and stand against the darkness. Time is short, and the stakes are eternal.